My next guest joining me tonight here on Punky's MixTape is coming all the way from Stockholm, Sweden. I'm like everybody, welcome to the show, Douglas of Vanadeen. How we doing?
We're doing fine, man. Thank you for having me again, I guess, for the third time, but still first in person.
Yeah, first interview. We've for my mixtapers that may remember, we've actually had your music on here quite a few times. We've been quite a big fan over the last year, and we're really honored to have you here with us tonight.
Honored to be here too, man. It's so fun. I love your show.
Oh, thanks, man. I gotta say, I love your shirt. I'm a huge X-Men fan.
Oh, nerds at heart.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So for my mixtapers that may not remember you, or this is your first time hearing of Vanadeen, tell us a little bit about the band and yourself.
Well, Vanadeen is my solo project, and it started out as the idea of, the question more like, can I do something like this on my own? Can I write, record, and produce a record on my own? Because I had all these pent up emotions and ideas and songs that I felt the need to put out there, I guess. And then I said to myself, I can do all these things. I can play the instruments. I know how to record. I have recording equipment and stuff. So why not just try it out and go for it? And I never would have dared to think that anyone would have wanted to listen to my music in the first place. But I was proving wrong, man.
You love when those moments happen, and you decide, and you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to take a risk and just put some, you said you had, some emotions to work out. You wanted to get it out there, and then obviously you never know the type of response that you're going to get. Sometimes it's hit or miss. And obviously it seems like it's been more of a hit for you than a miss.
Definitely. Because I was always thinking, like, you heard the saying that, what's the last thing the drummer said in the band? Hey guys, I've got a new song that I've written, or something like that, And so that was kind of my biggest fear, that no one would want to hear anything I've written. Like, why would anyone want to hear what I have to say? I'm just a guy with the wooden sticks banging the skins in the back, So I tried it out, and it seemed to do pretty well. Like, just today, I found out that my debut album or EP has been streamed over 70,000 times. So I never would have even dared to imagine that anything like that would happen in the first place. 7 times or 70,000 nonetheless.
Which is unbelievable, especially, there's a lot of, different artists out there, and there's so many different people doing different things. And it really seems like there's this big resurgence sort of recently, more in pop punk and punk rock than which is phenomenal. I always say it seems to be like an influx in that whenever there's unfortunately a little bit more social conflict, when everything's going well, there's tons of songs about doing well, but there's also tons of songs about feeling like shit. But I think most of us can relate to feeling down than feeling up.
Sadly, I think so. And if you can string a couple of chords together and write some half poetic lyrics about it, then people might relate to it. Or if you pour your heart out into a song about your grandpa has passed away or whatever, if you have something to say, then someone will probably want to listen to it. And I didn't think that would be the case, but well, shows what I know, I guess.
I totally understand that. We know we're our own worst enemies sometimes, which it's hard to get out of the way of that. But I'm glad you took the risk and put it out there, because the EP is awesome. So you did every instrument yourself.
Yeah. I wrote, recorded, produced the whole thing. Now that it's been out a while, I think I do some things differently, but live and let go, I think. But
Well, I think it's
all
all
up
part of the
for
process, you know,
yeah,
especially
yeah, yeah.
like, oh, I would have done this here and I would have done that there. But, you know, that's the thing. They're your songs and you can, you know, change and grow and evolve them, you know, over the years, which is what I think is one of the funnest parts about being a musician.
I agree. It's not that I'm like disappointed in it. Nothing like that. I'm super proud of it. It's just that man, I can do better now. Look, I'm on top of the world and all that, you know.
Well, you know, it's hindsight, you know, and especially as the further you get into it, the more you know, and especially with self-recording and production and mixing and mastering, there's always things and techniques that you're always adding to your toolbox as you grow and develop. And I listen to stuff that I did, God, you know, 15 years ago to 10 years ago to 2 years ago, and you know, it's
yeah.
just things like, oh, if I would have known X, Y, and Z, but I would have changed this. But you know, that's it's all part of the road, and I think that's what makes it exciting is just to see your own. You can already see areas for personal growth by going back in retrospect on it, which is awesome, which makes me anticipate what's coming next even more.
Yeah. And speaking of, I'm currently writing a couple more songs that I will put out as soon as I can record everything. I guess need the time to, and well, mostly like an empty house, you know, so that I don't disturb my girlfriend or whatever when recording drums or something like that. You know, it makes quite a lot of noise.
Oh, absolutely. That's as a guitarist who has a couple of drum sets himself, I totally understand that. They take up a lot of room and they make a ton of noise.
Noise. But the thing is, now that I have put out this record, doing it on my own.
I love the name, actually. I think for, you know, finding that it was a solo effort, because it's one of those things that slipped my mind because there's such an unbelievable full body sound on there, and it's not like sometimes when you listen to a solo project and you can hear the dominant instrument that the artist plays, and if they do it all themselves, sometimes one might be lackluster, and that is not the case with you. There's a nice, unbelievable, well-balanced full band sound on the album that I absolutely love. I'm definitely one of your 70,000 because you're on my drive mix to work, and you're a hell of a way for me to start the day here in the States.
Thank you, man. So much. It kind of makes my eyes well up a bit hearing that. Because you know, as I said, I didn't think anyone would want to listen to what I had to say or the music I've written. So just getting all this feedback and, you know, seeing those insane numbers and reading the comments on my cover on YouTube or whatever. It's all
the Taylor Swift cover you did, right?
Yeah. That too. It reached like 10,000 views today too, you know. So, and it's all a bunch of lovely, you know, drive-by letter bombs by people, but it's filled with love, you know. So it's indescribable to me how much this has made me like grow as a person, and it sounds horrible, but I'm not used to getting all this attention or all this love, you know. So it feels so good, man.
Well, I think that's the thing about art is when you create something, you're giving life to an emotion, an idea, you know, a memory, a moment in time. All of those things encapsulated into this entity, let it be, you know, a physical art or music. And when you do that, it takes a life of its own after you create it. And either it could be a Victor von Frankenstein situation where it runs amok, or it's something that brings people together. And I think when you can do that and you can speak of a personal truth in a moment in time that is self reflecting and it's truly honest, then it resonates. And I think that earnestness is definitely felt within your music and why you've been getting the attention and the praise that is so well deserved.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't have put it better myself, I guess. Uh, but still, I never would have guessed. And well, sorry, man. I lost myself.
That's all right. You know, sometimes when you hear an honest compliment like that, it stops you in your tracks a little bit, and I totally understand. You know,
Yeah,
but you put a lot of hard work into the
I'm not used to it really. So
Like
and
how long?
I gotta say too. Sorry for interrupting, but
Play fine.
uh, I gotta say too, as a Swedish person, you know, we're really reserved as a people, like in whole. So we're very reserved. Yeah, that's the word could have used. And so we all always sit around and think like, no, I can't grow too big. I can't make too much of noise, which contradicts the whole pop punk like lifestyle or sound or you know culture or whatever. But we're not really that much of a rebellious kind of people. We're quite calm and everything. We got this word. It's called lagom, and it means not too much and not too little. It's somewhere in between that, and that's how you're supposed to be in Sweden. Not too much and not too little. So don't make too much noise, but don't be too quiet. You know. So this whole thing of making pop punk and being Swedish too is like the biggest rebellion, but still not, because it's not true punk, but it's not heavy metal and it's not pop music. So it's somewhere in between. So I don't know. That might be why it suits me well, like inside or whatever, I guess.
That's really interesting perspective. That one I wasn't privy to before. That's very interesting, especially where um, a a general line of respect and modesty is assumed throughout Sweden. That's honestly
Yeah,
that's a
it's
really
kind of
interesting
mandatory.
perspective. What was that?
It's kind of mandatory or obligatory to be like respectful of each other, give each other space. Don't be too close standing at the bus stop or whatever. You know, be
I
respectful.
think
Of
I
one
might
another.
need to move to Sweden.
Do it, man.
Like you're selling me. It's those everyday niceties which you know you try to practice the best you can. You know, it seems like it's forgotten on some people here in the States. I digress. I digress. How long did it take you to put together the EP on your own? That's one thing I was very curious about.
Not that long, actually. Now that I come to think of it, I haven't really sat down to think about it. But the thing is, it's 8 songs. Well, 7.5, I guess, because the last song is a bit of a jokey 30-second thing, I guess. But the song that's the oldest on the record is "Time I Grew Up," and I wrote that a couple of years back in high school. Uh, but the rest of the album, I kind of wrote them each like 3 days each or something.
Wow. So you really just like imagine like once you all went into lockdown, that's when is that when you started production on the EP?
Right before that,
Right
uh,
before?
yeah. So when the whole lockdown and the infamous C sickness thing, C-19 sickness, rolled over our country, that's when I had started recording in the studios, recording drums and vocals and whatever that I didn't do at home, because at my university that I just finished last year too, the worst year of them all, I guess. But still, that's where I had the most amazing studio all for myself, and so I recorded all the drums there. Like, yeah, said I wrote every song 3 days each, and then recorded I think 2 songs per day for each session.
Wow.
So it was like a week of recording, I think.
Kind of roughly around there. That's awesome and incredibly ambitious too. Like,
well, it's fun. That's the thing. It's addictive as hell. Some things takes longer than others, but once I had the songs written, it was pretty much just going in and getting it done, I think. But the thing is, since I was doing it all on my own, I had to run to the control room, press record, run into the studio, sit down for the drums, wait for the count in, and then just go nuts on it. And then be like, oh, fuck, I messed up. I need to do it again. And then run back and forwards and back and forwards all weekend long, and then take a week's break, and then do it all weekend long and take a week's break. So,
man, I would love to be a fly on the wall to see a time lapse of all of that just running around.
Yeah, me too. I should have recorded a time lapse. Next album, probably. It sounds like a lot
definitely
of fun.
do, because honestly, with doing everything, I would just it's probably absolutely insane, especially of how fast you work.
It was a lot of fun. I had some help, like tearing the studio down afterwards, like all the microphones and stuff, and sometimes I had a friend that like checked up on me to check that I had killed myself, like worked myself to death. So that was very nice. But when all the restrictions started, it was just me. So, and since I was finishing university, I really didn't have that much left to do in school. So I had a lot of free time and pretty good studio and a lot of material to go through. So that was my pastime, and it's so much fun, just doing the thing you love and working your ass off.
Well, absolutely. There's nothing better than it, And that's the thing, is just try to find the things in life that you're truly passionate about and just run with it. Even if, it doesn't matter if you hit, one person or 70,000 people, all that matters is if you're able to express yourself in a productive manner and work out, the complex emotions that comes with the human condition, then you're all the better. It's the way that I see it in any medium. So, and speaking of that, you've also been pretty busy in other mediums as well, because you've got a handful of music videos for your tracks as well.
Yeah, as I said earlier, before we started the whole thing, me and my girlfriend has been working us asses off, making like these fun little ideas we had for lyric videos for every song into a system. She finished the audio video bachelor's degree at the same university I went to, but the year before. So she helped me like record the videos for everything and cut it together and color grade it and all those things that I have no knowledge about. So that was great. She helped me like put together the visual artwork for the album too. So that was super nice for her, and that's been a lot of fun. I did the music things and she did like the visuals and helped me with the make the turd look a bit nicer.
To polish it up for you.
Yeah, polish up. So that was a lot of fun. But well, I had to say, like, all those views on YouTube on like the Taylor Swift cover, that's all her. Well, maybe not all her, but most of her. So I'm super grateful for having her like by my side through all of this, and I'm glad that I haven't driven her nuts yet. So
that's all we can hope for. That's all we
Yeah.
can hope for, is that we don't drive our partners nuts while we continue to
During all
ride
this,
out
you
the
know.
storm here. But you had mentioned earlier, before we take a quick break, you got a couple new tracks in the works right now for a new EP.
Yeah. I have a couple of new tracks working on them, but the problem is, since I graduated from the university, I don't really have access to the studio, so it's difficult recording drums. But I think I'll check around and see if I can borrow someone's studio to just throw my drum kit in and
Just
bring a couple mics.
power through a session, which you can do.
Yeah. So I think that's what's stopping me right now. Like I'm up and running, like on this high after all this feedback and all these very very nice reviews and comments of people like you and everyone else. I feel like I can live forever and do this forever, you know. So it's super inspiring. All of this good feedback.
Definitely keep at it, because for those who know, we know, and those who don't know are about to find out. We're actually going to drop a couple videos. We're going to check out a few tracks tonight, and then we're going to be back later on in the episode to have you run the gauntlet known as Mixtape Malarkey, our very own punk rock game show. Are you excited to play some games with us?
Yeah, man.
Awesome. Well, my guest tonight is Douglas of Vanadeen, and we'll be back shortly.